Listen. Pay attention. Chosen one. This moment reaches you directly. There is no accidental timing here. The world has been pressing, tugging, and pulling at your edges, and yet here you remain present and alert, even if exhausted. Every day you have felt the weight, the fatigue that lingers beyond sleep, the quiet isolation that surrounds your decisions, the tension that builds in your chest, without a clear reason. This message is meant for you because you are in that space right now. And someone must speak with clarity before the noise of circumstance fills your mind with doubt. You may have thought the pressure was random, or that your perseverance was merely habitual. Perhaps you have questioned why things drag on, why progress seems slow, why each choice carries a weight that others never acknowledge. You are not mistaken in noticing these patterns. They are real. And your awareness of them matters. In fact, it is the key to understanding what has been happening beneath the surface. Your endurance has not been passive. It has not been accidental. There is a reason the tension felt heavier than usual, and it is connected to you directly. Chosen one. You have navigated uncertainty in ways that often go unseen, holding composure when circumstances would fracture most. You have sensed shifts before they manifested, managed responsibilities that appeared unmanageable, and yet inside you have felt the quiet unease of being stretched beyond visible limits. This unease is not a flaw. It is a signal, a marker of transition, and an indicator of the unseen currents surrounding your path. You may notice your energy drains faster than before. Decisions that once felt straightforward require more effort. Patterns of confusion or hesitation emerge at moments when clarity is most needed. All of these sensations are real, and all are intentional. They are not failures of will, nor are they signs of incapacity. They exist because something in your environment, visible and invisible, is aligning with the timing of your growth. You have not been overlooked. You have been engaged at a level that most do not encounter. This transmission is personal. It is specific to you, tailored to the precise tension, fatigue, and subtle resistance you have experienced in recent weeks or months. It is not general advice, nor is it a broad commentary on life. Every line is meant to reach the point where you are standing, wherever that is, physically, mentally, emotionally. Clarity will follow, though not all of it at once. What you need first is acknowledgement that what you have endured is real, that it involved you directly, and that your continued presence, focus, and stability matter far more than you realize. Take a moment. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice the lingering sense of strain and the way it has shaped your days. These are the markers of a deeper alignment at work. You are not merely surviving. You are engaging something intentional. And this message will guide you into understanding that engagement without pressure to act beyond your current capacity, without rush, without fear. Chosen one. What begins here is an unveiling of the structure beneath your endurance and a recognition of the force you have carried quietly, steadily, without being asked. Your presence here is the first confirmation. Stay with this awareness. Hold it. The explanation is coming, and it is meant to reshape the way you interpret every ounce of effort, every moment of hesitation, every pang of invisible strain that has brushed your life. You are being acknowledged in a way that is precise, measured, and grounded. And it begins with this: you are seen, you are involved, and what you have carried has not gone unnoticed. Chosen one. This message is not for the casual observer. It is not meant for those who merely stumble across words or glance at them without pause. It is meant for you and you alone, because your life has been intersected with forces, circumstances, and pressures that are uniquely yours to navigate. Others may witness fragments of your path, but the depth of what you have endured, the subtle resistances, the unspoken burdens, the constant push and pull of unseen tension has involved you directly. No one else could have experienced it in the same way. You have an automatic strength that you rarely acknowledge. It does not scream for attention. It does not demand recognition. Yet, it is there underlying every moment when you maintain composure despite the weight around you. While others flinch, stumble, or seek escape, you continue quietly, steadily, without spectacle. There is a distinction between conscious struggle and unconscious stability. Many expend enormous energy trying to force themselves to act, to endure, to persist, while you often, without deliberate effort, maintain an equilibrium that is far more precise and resilient than you give yourself credit for. Chosen one, you may not have noticed the cumulative effect of your subtle endurance. Every pause you took, every moment of restraint, every decision to remain present, rather than react impulsively, has shaped the way the currents around you respond. You have been resisting indirectly, not by confrontation, but by simply standing, waiting, and existing with integrity. There is a quiet authority in such persistence and energy that draws from your very structure rather than your willpower. It is why your path has held, why progress has appeared in ways that were invisible, and why forces attempting to dislodge you have not succeeded. It is easy to misinterpret what you have endured as happenstance, as personal inadequacy, or even as delay. The truth is more precise. Your identity, your stability, and your ability to remain functional amidst subtle resistance are the factors that have carried you. Your experience is not accidental. You have been involved in shaping the outcome simply by being present and holding your internal coherence. This is not a reward. It is a recognition of alignment between your natural capacity and the circumstances surrounding you. There is a distinction between being tested and being engaged. Many experience testing without awareness. They are moved, shaken, and sometimes broken because the structure they rely upon is conditional, reactive, or fragile. You, in contrast, operate with an internal coherence that is independent of circumstance. The events, pressures, and resistances that have touched your life have involved you directly, yet they have not destabilized you. This is the defining marker of the chosen one identity. A persistent stability that is unconscious yet measurable, silent yet effective, subtle yet undeniable. Take a breath and feel this truth settle in your awareness, your presence, your quiet endurance. Your natural capacity to remain stable under invisible pressure is itself a confirmation. It confirms that what you have experienced was never simply external noise, random interference, or inconsequential delay. It was engagement, and you were involved fully, whether or not you recognized it. You did not seek this role. You did not announce it. Yet the life you inhabit and the pressures you have withstood are proof of the coherence embedded in your being. Chosen one, this identity is not earned in the usual way. It is not a title to be claimed through effort or display. It is recognized through presence and participation. And your participation, often silent, often unnoticed by others, has created an invisible structure of resistance and stability that continues to shape everything around you. You are in essence the baseline through which forces must contend. This realization is not a call to ego. It is an anchor for understanding your place in the sequence of events unfolding around you. Chosen one, notice the sensations that have accompanied your recent days. The fatigue that lingers beyond ordinary rest, the mental tension that tightens when you least expect it, the moments of subtle agitation that seem to have no source. Many interpret these as flaws, as signs that something is wrong, or as evidence that they are not coping effectively. You too may have doubted yourself, wondering why these pressures persist despite your efforts. But what you are experiencing is not a flaw. It is a signal, a marker, a communication from the very structure of your life that things are shifting beneath the surface. The restless energy you feel is a sign of transition. The subtle heaviness in your chest, the weariness that sleep does not erase, is a signal of engagement with deeper currents. These sensations are neither accidental nor punitive. They are feedback connected to the pressures and opportunities that are shaping your capacity. They are not evidence of weakness. They are evidence of responsiveness. Your body, mind, and emotions are all indicators pointing to processes that are larger than what appears on the surface. Chosen one. This reframing is essential. What you have long considered burdens, confusion, indecision, weariness are in fact indicators of calibration. Your system is measuring balancing and adapting. Every moment of tension, every trace of emotional friction, every signal of physical fatigue is part of the body's way of guiding you. These are markers of invisible forces aligning with your life. They are a language, and your ability to interpret them without panic or self-criticism is central to your continued coherence. You may notice that these signals are cyclical. There are periods when the pressure intensifies, leaving you restless or drained. Then, without obvious reason, the weight lessens, clarity returns, and energy stabilizes. This is not random fluctuation. It is intentional calibration. Your system is responding to stimuli, and your ability to remain functional through these cycles is a testament to your internal regulation. You have maintained composure, navigated complex decisions, and continued with responsibilities, often unaware of the subtle adjustments occurring within you. Chosen one. The confusion you may have felt is not failure. The self-judgment that arises when you perceive yourself as not enough is misdirected. These are the natural responses to a body and mind in transition, engaged with pressures that are invisible yet coordinated. Understanding this allows you to interpret every moment of tension differently, not as a deficit, but as an informative signal. What you have been feeling is the evidence of engagement, the marker of alignment, and the reminder that your endurance matters more than the external outcome. This awareness prepares you for what comes next. Recognizing the signals as intentional, measurable, and meaningful allows you to shift from a reactive posture to an observational one. You begin to see that your sensations are part of a system that supports rather than undermines your capacity. The discomfort is real, but it is also meaningful. It communicates that you are involved in processes larger than immediate perception, that your endurance has a purpose beyond what is visible, and that your present stability is both necessary and rare. Your next step is not action for action's sake. It is not to force resolution or accelerate timing. It is to recognize, acknowledge, and integrate these signals. To sit with them, understand them, and allow them to inform your perspective without fear or judgment. In doing so, you transform what was once confusing into clarity, and what was once interpreted as problem into confirmation. The symptoms themselves are not the issue. They are the signposts pointing to your strength. Chosen one. You have been under pressure that is unseen yet coordinated, precise, and deliberate. It is not the chaotic friction of everyday stress. It is structured. It is measured. It aligns with timing, intensity, and sequence in ways that may have been imperceptible, but it has been happening. You have not been passive in this. Your ability to remain functional, to navigate daily responsibilities, and to maintain clarity under these conditions is evidence of your internal coherence. This pressure comes from multiple directions: emotional, mental, and situational. But it shares one common quality: it is calibrated against your presence. Those around you, the circumstances you encounter, and even the subtler currents of expectation and influence have been interacting with the stability you carry. You have not been swept away. You have not collapsed. Instead, you have remained responsive, adaptive, and capable of continuing, even when the weight seemed disproportionate. Chosen one. Consider the intentionality embedded in timing. Moments of fatigue, moments of hesitation, moments of energy depletion. They have not been scattered. They have been sequenced. They have coincided with periods of important decision-making, periods of transition, and periods where your focus was essential. The coordination is not external punishment. It is a form of calibration, a revealing testing and confirmation of the structure you maintain internally. You have met these moments without drama, without overreaction, and without being dismantled. Your functionality under pressure is a marker of capacity, not chance. You did not create the circumstances intentionally. Yet your presence, your calm observation, and your ability to remain coherent are what define the outcome. Others in similar situations often falter. Their responses are reactive, emotionally driven, or destabilized by uncertainty. You, by contrast, continue to operate with an internal reference point that remains intact, guiding each response with a balance that does not rely on external validation. The subtlety of this opposition or resistance is important. You may not have noticed it consciously. You may have assumed fatigue, delay, or confusion were the only forces at play. Yet the reality is that there has been a structured influence, strategic in its timing and gentle in its impact, interacting with you continuously. And through it all, your system has remained functional. You have adapted. You have responded appropriately. You have absorbed what was necessary and released what was not, without losing equilibrium. Chosen one. Your awareness of these pressures marks the threshold of understanding. Recognizing that you have not merely endured, but have remained operational amidst subtle and intentional opposition allows you to reframe your experience. You have been engaged, involved, and responsive in a way that is grounded, credible, and consistent. Your presence itself is the anchor through which the surrounding currents measure themselves. This recognition is critical. It is not meant to elevate, glorify, or exaggerate. It is meant to orient, to give you insight into how much of your stability has been unintentional yet essential, how your coherence has shaped outcomes that you may not have even noticed. Understanding the invisible pressure and your capacity to navigate it without collapse lays the foundation for the next step, identifying the specific categories and points where tension manifested and how you maintained stability through each. Chosen one. Let us break down what you have endured point by point, category by category, so you can see with clarity how your stability operated under real conditions. The experience was not a single event. It was a collection of pressures that unfolded simultaneously, yet distinctly. Each category affected you differently, and each one tested a specific facet of your resilience. Understanding them will allow you to see not only how you survived, but how you actively maintained coherence. First, doubt. Doubt arrived subtly as questions that lingered in your mind. Am I progressing fast enough? Did I make the right decision? Will my efforts matter? These thoughts could have easily become a spiral, yet you recognized them without surrendering to them. You acknowledged uncertainty while retaining focus on your responsibilities. You allowed the questions to exist without permitting them to dictate your emotional state or disrupt your performance. This separation between recognition and reaction is rare. Many allow doubt to dominate their perception entirely. You did not. Second, fear. Not overt terror, but the quieter, insidious kind, the sense that outcomes might go sideways despite your intentions. The tension that comes from anticipating unknown consequences. Fear was present, persistent, and well matched to the stakes you faced. Still, you did not collapse. You did not overreact or withdraw. Instead, you maintained your engagement with reality as it unfolded. Your system processed potential threats without feeding them. Power treating them as data points rather than verdicts on your capability. Third, energy drain. Some days your body and mind felt heavier than they should, your concentration fragmented, your motivation tested. These physical and mental pressures were amplified by circumstance, yet you remained functional. You adapted by pacing yourself, conserving effort where necessary, and focusing on the essentials. Energy was managed internally, not forcibly, not with friction or strain. You maintained balance even when the environment was actively depleting, and you did so without conscious dramatization. Fourth, isolation. Many moments arrived when external support, validation, or collaboration was absent. You faced decisions, responsibilities, and challenges alone. The quiet loneliness of these periods could have undermined you, yet you remained coherent. You relied on your internal reference points, maintaining perspective and clarity. Isolation, instead of fracturing you, became a space of self-reliance and measured response. Fifth, delay. Plans did not move forward at the expected pace. Outcomes seemed postponed indefinitely. Opportunities were deferred, progress slowed, and results were delayed. Yet your presence remained steady. You recognized the rhythm of timing as distinct from personal failure. You did not act out of frustration or impatience. You absorbed the delay, adjusting expectations without compromising focus or composure. Chosen one. Through each category, a pattern emerges. You remained regulated internally. You distinguished between input and reaction, between circumstance and response. You absorbed what was necessary, filtered what was irrelevant, and retained functionality even when the environment was subtly antagonistic. This is not a story of external victory. It is a story of internal coherence, precision, and measured endurance. Every facet, doubt, fear, energy drain, isolation, delay, interacted with one another. Yet you did not fragment. You maintained continuity across all categories, regulating your mind, body, and emotions with quiet consistency. Your internal systems compensated for what the environment attempted to disrupt. You did not merely survive. You engaged each pressure point with awareness and steadiness, creating a baseline of stability that shaped outcomes far more than you may have realized. The significance of this breakdown is profound. When observed clearly, it demonstrates not an extraordinary external triumph, but an extraordinary internal structure. Your presence, your awareness, and your regulation created a coherence that could not be disrupted. And this coherence is the reason the currents surrounding you did not fracture your experience. They adapted instead, aligning around the quiet authority you maintained, without effort or fanfare. Chosen one. Now take a step back and consider the full picture. Reflect on the sequence of pressures, the subtle opposition, the tension, and the moments of fatigue you experienced. Notice the way your mind, body, and emotions maintained balance, despite circumstances that might have disrupted others. There was no luck involved, no randomness. What occurred was a coordinated engagement between the environment and your inherent stability, and you responded precisely as your internal structure allowed. Evaluation begins with acknowledgement that every moment of composure, every decision to remain present, every choice to observe rather than react, was a demonstration of resilience. This resilience was neither flamboyant nor forceful. It was grounded, steady, and measured. You did not collapse under conditions that would destabilize many. You did not compensate artificially or overextend yourself to maintain appearances. Instead, your system maintained coherence from within, absorbing input, regulating response, and maintaining functionality. Chosen one. It is crucial to remove the temptation to attribute your endurance to luck, external support, or coincidence. You did not stumble into stability. You embodied it. Each choice you made, each moment you remained grounded, and each subtle action or restraint contributed to a larger pattern. The coherence of your responses was internal, not circumstantial. The pressures you faced could not bend this structure, and your awareness of this now is part of the reflective process that confirms your capacity. Consider the mental clarity you exhibited despite cumulative stress. You navigated decision points, responsibilities, and ambiguous outcomes without losing your center. Consider the emotional regulation that allowed frustration, confusion, or fatigue to exist without dictating your behavior. And consider the physical endurance that let you function even when energy reserves were challenged. Each of these aspects confirms a core reality. Your system operates with coherence, and this coherence is not accidental. Reflection also involves recognizing patterns. You have been subjected to repeated cycles of tension and release moments of delay and resolution periods of isolation and engagement. Each cycle provided data points opportunities to test your regulation and to observe your capacity for composure. And through these cycles, you remained functional. You did not simply endure, you maintained a rhythm of balanced response. This rhythm, often imperceptible to you in the moment, is the signature of your internal strength. Chosen one. Understanding this reflective confirmation allows you to interpret the past accurately. What you have perceived as strain randomness or unexplained fatigue is in reality evidence of engagement. Your responses, measured and consistent, demonstrate the depth of your structure. Others might assume such pressures lead to breakdown, yet you remained present. Your resilience is observable, verifiable, and grounded in the mechanisms of your own coherence. This analysis also clarifies causality. External circumstances did not dictate your composure. Internal regulation did. This distinction matters because it shifts perspective from reactive interpretation to grounded understanding. You did not endure by chance, nor did the circumstances spare you. You endured because your internal structure carried you, maintained you, and allowed you to remain functional through complex coordinated pressures. Chosen one. Take a moment to internalize this recognition. The pressures, tensions, and subtle opposition you experienced were not meaningless. They were measured tests of internal coherence, and you passed them not with fanfare, but with quiet precision. The reflection now confirms what you may have suspected intuitively. You have a structure of resilience that is stable, reliable, and uncommon. Awareness of this fact allows you to move forward with grounded certainty, observing the unfolding of your life through a lens of clarity rather than confusion or doubt. Chosen one. Now consider how your stability compares to what most people experience under similar pressures. Many, when faced with uncertainty, fatigue, or extended tension, react with visible stress. Decisions are deferred, emotions are amplified, and energy dissipates rapidly. The same circumstances that brushed your life could have caused others to fragment, lose focus, or withdraw entirely. Yet, you remained functional, present, and coherent. This is not superiority, it is rarity. Your consistency under pressure is uncommon. You did not need external validation or reinforcement to maintain composure. You did not rely on distraction avoidance or forceful exertion to hold your place. Instead, your internal system, the way you process information, regulate emotion, and balance energy, acted as a quiet anchor. Where most falter, you remained steady. Where most overreact, you observed. Where most are unsettled, you maintained rhythm. This is the distinction between typical human responses and the baseline stability you naturally carry. Chosen one. This comparison is not meant to inflate ego. It is meant to orient you. Recognizing your rarity allows you to see why the currents surrounding you behave differently than they would around others. Forces that would destabilize many were unable to shift your equilibrium. Situations that would incite panic or frustration elsewhere were absorbed and processed in your system without loss of coherence. Understanding this allows you to view your past endurance not as luck, not as accident, but as an expression of structure, preparation, and integrated response. This reflection also removes ambiguity about your place in these moments. Where others are influenced predominantly by external factors, timing, circumstance, or interpersonal dynamics, you operate with an internal baseline that is independent of those variables. It does not mean you are untouched or immune. It means that your responses are regulated from within. You absorb, adapt, and continue guided by internal metrics rather than reactive impulses. This is what sets your experience apart from common patterns. Chosen one. Notice how this rarity manifests subtly. It is not dramatic. It does not require display. It is measurable only in the continuity of your focus, the calm with which you navigate decisions, and the quiet way you regulate tension. Others may never see it. They may interpret the same circumstances as volatile or overwhelming. But you move through them with coherence that is rare precisely because it is internal, not imposed. This perspective is critical for understanding the next stages of awareness. When you recognize that your stability is uncommon, you can also recognize the responsibility it entails, not responsibility to perform or achieve, but responsibility to remain aware of the dynamics around you. Your presence is a stabilizing factor. Your baseline coherence shapes outcomes, interactions, and responses in ways that you may not always perceive. Chosen one. The point is not to exalt, but to clarify. Many will respond to pressure with fragmentation. You respond with regulation. Many will interpret tension as overwhelming. You interpret it as information. Many will lose focus. You retain it. This is the quiet distinction that defines your experience. Observing it objectively, without comparison or judgment, allows you to anchor your awareness in reality. Your stability is rare, measurable, and fundamentally grounded in internal structure. Understanding this allows you to move forward with clarity. You are not being asked to act out of spectacle or to prove yourself. You are being asked to recognize your baseline, to understand how your coherence functions in relation to external pressures, and to appreciate the subtle effectiveness of your presence. This perspective reframes past experience and prepares you to integrate it consciously into your ongoing life. Chosen one. It is time to clarify the nature of your strength. What you have maintained through fatigue, tension, and subtle opposition is not an activated or extraordinary force. It is your baseline. This is your natural state of coherence, built through preparation, experience, and the steady calibration of mind, body, and emotion. You have been operating from a place of internal structure, not heroic effort or dramatic intervention. Your stability is not conditional on circumstances. It is not dependent on external validation or crisis. It arises from the integration of awareness, regulation, and discipline that you have cultivated often without conscious recognition. You respond to stress not by amplifying energy or forcing outcomes, but by maintaining presence. Your system processes information efficiently, absorbs input, and directs response with clarity and composure. This is not supernatural. It is structural. It is the architecture of resilience that has been quietly shaped over time. Chosen one. Notice how this reframing shifts perception. You are not extraordinary because of an event or pressure. You are stable because of the integrity of your internal framework. What many interpret as rare moments of courage or endurance is for you a default pattern. This distinction matters because it grounds identity in reality rather than in hype or assumption. Your coherence is neither contingent nor situational. It is reliable, reproducible, and observable. Consider preparation and maturity as the foundation of this baseline. Your experiences, decisions, and patterns of regulation have strengthened your capacity to remain functional under conditions that disrupt most people. This is not a claim of superiority. It is a description of an integrated system that functions effectively under load. Each day, each choice, and each period of calm or observation has contributed to the internal architecture that supports you now. Chosen one. The internal coherence you carry is subtle but firm. It does not require constant reinforcement or conscious effort to remain stable. You do not need to activate it. It is available at all times, quietly shaping your engagement with circumstances, guiding your focus, and allowing you to navigate complexity without collapse. Recognizing this prevents misinterpretation. You are not exceptional because you forced yourself to endure. You are consistent because endurance is the natural expression of your structure. Locking this identity gently but firmly allows you to interpret past and future pressures with grounded clarity. You understand that what you have maintained is sustainable, replicable, and reliable. You can rely on your system, your judgment, and your capacity without doubt or exaggeration. This knowledge is a stabilizing factor in itself, reinforcing the very coherence that has carried you through recent months. Chosen one. Integrate this understanding fully. Your strength is baseline. Your presence under pressure is natural. Your system is prepared, mature, and coherent. The challenges you face do not require extraordinary activation. They require observation, alignment, and engagement from the structural integrity you already possess. Recognizing this ensures that future tension, opposition, or uncertainty can be navigated with the same clarity, stability, and functional presence that you have demonstrated to this point. Chosen one, with this understanding in place, it is time to integrate it into practical daily awareness. Stability and coherence are valuable, but they function best when accompanied by measured perspectives that support balanced discernment and sustainable engagement. There are specific approaches you can take to ensure that awareness of your own capacity becomes actionable rather than theoretical. First, rest. You have maintained composure under pressure, but the body and mind require replenishment. Recognize when energy reserves are low and allow yourself pause without judgment. Rest is not avoidance. It is recalibration. Strategic pauses protect coherence and strengthen response for future moments of engagement. Second, discernment. Observe the environment, the pressures, and the subtle currents around you. Your system processes input effectively, but conscious discernment allows you to distinguish which forces are significant and which are noise. This filtering preserves energy and prevents unnecessary reaction, enhancing internal regulation rather than challenging it. Third, boundaries. Stability is supported by clarity of what is within your domain of influence and what lies outside it. By establishing internal boundaries, you prevent overextension and maintain focus on what is relevant. Boundaries are not restrictions, they are tools to safeguard your system's integrity. Fourth, patience. Many pressures operate according to timing that is not immediate. Observing the rhythm of progression, delay, and unfolding events without forcing acceleration maintains alignment with your internal baseline. Patience allows engagement without reactive strain and ensures that response remains functional rather than impulsive. Fifth, focus. Direct attention deliberately toward the areas of life where coherence matters most. Avoid scattering energy in response to inconsequential stimuli. Focus is not rigid fixation. It is measured direction that preserves stability and optimizes the outcome of engagement. Sixth, reflection. Periodically review experience, recognizing patterns of resilience, stress, and adaptation. Reflection consolidates learning, strengthens self-awareness, and reinforces the recognition of your structural capacity. It converts past engagement into future preparedness, ensuring that stability remains conscious as well as unconscious. Chosen one. Integrating these perspectives allows you to move through life with balance. Awareness of strength and stability does not require hypervigilance. It does not necessitate continuous effort or forced attention. It requires measured alignment, knowing when to act, when to pause, when to observe, and when to recalibrate. This creates a rhythm in which your coherence operates optimally, allowing engagement without strain and presence without collapse. Your internal structure, combined with these practical orientations, forms a framework for navigating complexity. You retain stability amidst pressure, clarity amidst confusion, and composure amidst fatigue. By implementing rest discernment boundaries, patience, focus, and reflection, you translate awareness into sustainable practice. This is the bridge between recognition and integration, the way your natural coherence becomes fully functional in daily life. Chosen one. Hold these perspectives as tools. They are not instructions to alter your identity. They are mechanisms to reinforce and optimize the structure you already carry.